Okay, I'll try to speed up the process. So right now, the stock market's making me look like an idiot. Um, I did not suspect such a big rebound in price. Um, I thought, it might come up to, it could come over, it could come just above the the 2155 EMA. It might hit along the bottom of this or come up to the top. I did not expect a super close return to almost all time highs. Although, to be honest, this almost reminds me of Bitcoin in October, where, you know, we've set a trend of high prices. It's kind of a drawdown, a sharp rebound. We could get, because this is a reality. This pressure that's on the entire global economy is a reality. So if there isn't a breakthrough, but there's just the euphoria of a possible breakthrough, we might get a pierce of all-time highs. You might get some scamwick candle that pokes its head above all-time highs. You might even get some crazy couple 2-3 day rally that hits up here, hits this trend line up here, and then oops, bad news, things fall apart again. Or bad news, reality is that the economy is a time bomb with this oil problem, and boom, it all collapses. And once it starts building momentum and gets back here, if it goes down below here, these previous lows down here, it's gonna just drop way further. So we are not out of the woods yet. Uh, Almost same thing with Nasdaq. Again, I was caught off guard. I did not anticipate. I mean, I wrote potential recovery up here a long time ago, but I didn't think that we were going to get that. Once we started doing this potential recovery was like, how do we avoid this drop altogether? Once we went down the drop, I said, well, this is done. And again, my benchmarks were, April 15th to kind of April 20th. The market's going to realize if it hasn't been fixed yet, it's likely not going to get fixed before May 1st. So maybe there's some denial, but I assume that between April 15th and the latest April 20th, that the market would realize, okay, they haven't fixed it yet, they're not going to fix it, and so prices would come way down. And there might be some denial, but like if they don't get it fixed by May 1st, these problems that exist in the market, they are a reality. And if the market is forward looking, I think they're looking too far forward, and they're not looking at like what is the actual chance of this thing getting resolved without setting off a domino chain of problems. And I think the domino chain of problems has already been set off. We're gonna skip ahead to Nvidia again. Like, this pump is higher than I thought it would go. It's not super higher than I thought it would go, but again, I thought it would be maxed out here at like 189. Okay, well, it went $7 more. It's still higher. It's still up here to these tops. Like if it goes a little bit more, and people get euphoric enough, it could make a run to all-time highs. That would be so difficult to navigate, because you'd be dealing with a couple candles that tell you, hey, we're off on a new start. But in reality, the market is on a razor's edge on this geopolitical event that could allow it to collapse down again. It's not going to be easy. If there's like a price collapse, what do we have here? This is for the 20th. I should move that to be accurate. If there's a price collapse because they realize like it's going down, I would expect it to drop to like this 178 range, and then if it still looks bad, like a further drop to like 164. Below that is where we get this. I thought it was gonna happen here. It's been delayed. If I had to guess, we get kind of like it's coming up, it comes back down, and then boom, this thing gets triggered, and we start going down. That's just what I think's gonna happen, but I don't know. Google, another one, super high. I mean that pumped way higher than I was expecting. Look, the 2155 EMA is flipping green. That that's bullish. It's crazy. I did not anticipate this level of euphoria. I figured some people would be like, well, it's way oversold here, so we'll pump a bit. I did not anticipate this level. But again, if anything bad happens in the market, this all reverses. We're not going to do all the ones that I normally do. Oh my gosh, this one just makes me look like an absolute fool. So I was fairly confident this was a distribution top. I was even thinking that this was kind of like this dead cat bounce on the markdown zone. And then, okay, maybe because there was euphoria over the possible negotiations happening, it went really high. This is high. This is higher than this is almost all time highs right here. Okay, so how would we define success over failure? Like, how do we see that this, like, what might this do if it's going to succeed? So I'm turning on VRVP to show like volume levels. I could easily see it dropping down back into this volume area, but if it holds that, like at a between 400 and 420, that's still showing strength. If it blasts all-time highs, comes down, retests the previous all-time high, and then goes up, that shows strength. It can even drop gap fill down here, hitting around 375, and then recover. That still shows strength. But again, if we get towards the second half of this month and the market detects, it's not guaranteed, but if they detect that there isn't going to be a recovery, I just think everything's going to just drop. As fast as it boomed, it's going to collapse. And if this thing goes below, let's say 338, definitely like below these lows, 324 to 321. How low did that go? That went as low as 310. 310. It's just gonna crush back down. There were so many people that made so much money in such a short amount of time. You only have to go back to Liberation Day. This thing's $64. That's crazy. That is crypto. That's crypto levels of X's. People will bail on this if they think that it's going to go down. Right now, people think it's just guaranteed to go up. But if the whole market collapses or is going down, this will go down too. I'm not gonna do everything. I'm gonna be skipping some of these, but I do think that Tesla, although I think that Tesla has some long-term problems actually, everything else is kind of done like a little pump. There's no reason why it couldn't try to do a pump to get about $400, but then roll back over and come back down. I would need to see it at like 406 and above to think that maybe it's going to hold. It's possible that Tesla could pull something like this, what Palantir did, where after it forms the head and shoulders pattern, it does like this fake recovery pump. Maybe it might get above the neckline, but it can't really. This one got above the neckline, but it can't really hold it. It can't sustain holding at this volume area, and then it just drops down. Palantir, if things are euphoric for a little while, you could see like another fake pump attempt, but I do think that ultimately, if the economy goes bad, it's coming down here in this 105 to 90 range. This one, here's another one that makes me look like an idiot. I mean, that is just a massive pump. I did not think that it was going to get above this volume area. I did not think it was going to get above. I felt like there was like a secret hidden diagonal line of support and rejection in here. I did not think it was going to get above that. Now, prove me wrong. It went way up. So we'll see. If it stays positive, it could just keep going up. It could, drop down, fill this gap, reclaim this volume area, and then still go up. Or if the market decides that it's not going to recover, you're just going to see it drop in. If it goes below 288, like that's painful, man. That's a big go from 380 to 288. That's a big drop. And then it would keep going lower. Gold doing what I thought Bitcoin was going to do, but it was just easy gold was what did it. I think it needs to get above $5,000 to really capture the magic again, but it's doing okay. Again, if the market drops, this will drop too. The reaccumulation zone we got is like 4,400 to 4,000. That was like a fast wick. The first time it's a fast wick. Second time it goes there, it'll stay there longer. You'll actually have a longer time to accumulate there. It's looking good. It could go over 5,000 and reignite, but if the market drops, it'll drop too. Silver, I think gold has to go over 5,000 for silver to be able to get above 100 and sustain it and go on another run. But it is getting above 78, or it's at 79 right now. It is above 78, so that definitely looks like there's a chance that it can try another assault on $90 and $100. But if the economy fails, if the economy goes bad, I think this likely drops to 55.50. Have to pass through 64 and 58 first, but eventually we get to 55.50. Okay, Bloom Energy. Here's another one, making me look real bad. I did not think it was going to get through this. I thought it was going to make a kind of rounded top, have a fake pump to here, and then come down. Nope, exploded way up. So I'm not feeling too good about that. If it drops down below 131 and 128, you really got to watch out, because it's going to drop to 90 and 76. What are we at here? It's 219. Like, whoever's in here, man, you better have like a tight stop loss and be trying to take profit or something like that, because you have almost a 50% loss before you can be like, yeah, it didn't hold it, and then you're dropping even lower before you can get out. Again, look, these people made so much money. These people have made so much money in 1 year. They are not going to hold this thing and ride it all the way back down if it starts going low. So whoever's in this, if you're up, you got to be protective if it starts going lower. You almost can't even wait for the structure to break, because for the structure to break, you're already losing like 50%. I think you gotta get out if it goes under this. If it goes under this trend line, you gotta get out. If it goes under 170, 175, 178, you got to get out. Or at least safeguard your initials or something. You got to do something to protect yourself. Let's jump to Marvel. See, James at Invest Answers is definitely a fan of this. I mean, James seems like a good guy. My only concern is that I see this pattern of, we have these 3 extreme highs where it kind of topped out at before. I know there's a lot of positive news, a lot of positive FA regarding, partnerships, development, stuff like that with this particular company, Marvel, but I don't know. This is looking pretty vertical here, and I'm not the only person that's gonna say like, well, top tier, let me take some out. And if enough people take some out, it still goes down. So I would watch it. Not only is it at the same level that this trend is on, this particular one was so vertical, so extreme, so fast and rapid. Um, so it got to the same height at a faster rate. You're pretty close to topping out here, like 144. It's only $10 higher than $11 higher than where you are now. You're already in the middle. At 137, you're at the middle of this channel. The bottom of the channel is at 129. It's only $3 lower than this. I think that's a sell or take initials or safeguard something so you don't turn around a week later and you're like, oh man, it was so good, but the market collapsed and oops, we're down at 90. If the market goes bad, it goes to like 90 or 75. Let's turn this on. Look, if the market goes bad, it could easily drop to here. That's 93. And if it goes bad a little bit more, it could easily go to 74. There's no reason why I couldn't do that if it goes bad. I guess the only thing that's beneficial is this one hasn't had, like, the 9x's, 10x's that some of the other ones had. So there might not be quite the rush to get out if it starts going bad. It does have that in its favor. Okay, Advanced Micro Devices. I think we're in a sell point again. Even if nothing was going on, like a normal person would be like, hey, maybe I sell a little bit here. Maybe I sell a little bit here. You don't have to sell everything. You sell a little bit just in case. If something bad in the market goes, it's going to want to retest here. Now, if you want to rebuy at 185, hey, that's on you, man. It's not, might not recover, but I could understand somebody being like, well, it's following this channel. I'm going to rebuy down here. It's fine. I do think in a bad market, it could easily go to like 160 down here. TSMC. All right. This one's kind of weird. I'm detecting this curving expanding trend, which is in an even bigger trend line, and so you could consider this pump that it's on as good. If it gets above all-time high, that's good. If it touches up here, which right now today, if it went there immediately, would be around, let's say 400, right? Because it's around 412, maybe 420, 412. Let's say if it goes to 400, I would consider that a sell. Again, a partial sell. You don't have to sell everything, but you just sell something. And then if it touches that line and goes back below all-time high, that would be another partial sell. If it goes under this blue line, that's a definite sell. If you have anything left over and it goes below this horizontal black line, which is at 350, we'll call it 314, 315, that's a definite sell. In fact, when you look at the volume, right, where would it, like a 345, 350, touching on this blue line at 350, that would, and then going below, that'd be a sell. 300, looks like 302. Anything under this 310, 302 starts getting dangerous. And then you would look to reaccumulate when it touches this line down here. Or you might even get lucky. It might even go to 200. Or it might be 250. It could be that by the time it works its way, this line has made it to around 250. Might pick it up there. Astera Labs, I thought this was gonna retest. I thought it was gonna retest these green zones down here. It didn't. It hyper exploded. Another one that making me look bad. But this would be a prime example of, here's this volume. If it can't get on top of the volume and establish itself up here, it comes back down. If it goes below these trend lines, gets down here below like 96, maybe like 196, you still have this volume here, but already by here, if it gets reestablished down here, it's already broken trend. That's a problem. It might jump up and get rejected down. Well, you have to watch out. MicroStrategy is dependent on Bitcoin forming a double bottom and Bitcoin exploding. I'm not sure I feel like it's DCAble at $150 and below. I actually think if Bitcoin drops, MicroStrategy drops into the zone between $49 and $71, which would be a super nice DCA load up area. That's only if you like strategy. Just because strategy did well this past time doesn't mean it would do well before. I know that people used miners as a way to like leverage their gains versus Bitcoin, and then the miners didn't work so well. The miners didn't work so well as a way to leverage on Bitcoin this recent cycle. So I'm not 100% sure or guaranteed that because strategy did well, outperforming Bitcoin, that it would automatically outperform Bitcoin this next cycle coming up. But if anybody's willing to take the risk, I mean, this $49 to $71 zone is just like a super load up zone, and even $150 and below is DCAable. If it breaks out, I don't know. I could easily see it getting to like 162, 180, and then coming back down. Then Bitcoin, everybody's been waiting for it to break above like $75,000. I have like a parabolic curve on it, so I feel like it can still pull off that move. It did break this. It's broken above this downsloping trend line. It's diagonal. It's not very reliable, but it's better than nothing. It did max out here at $76 at 76,000. So it's got like 1 to 2 days. It's got 2 days to get above 76,000 to stay still in this parabolic trend, and then who knows? We might get lucky, and it might jump to 84,000, 83, 84,000. That'd be really high. It's probably like the highest it can go. Maybe the highest it can go is 87. But we'll see what happens. If the market tanks, though, it's not going to happen. If the market tanks, I don't think Bitcoin would do that. And then we have Solana. Solana is, of course, hinging on Bitcoin. Whatever Bitcoin does, Solana's gonna kind of play off of that. Again, if the market does something bad for the second half of this month, then I see Solana going on this bad path. Just kind of sends it down immediately. I don't know how far it would go, but later on in the year, I wouldn't be surprised. It's not a prediction, but it's more like if it did it, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it snows in the wintertime. And then, of course, if Bitcoin pumps, you could even get a Solana price from 120 to 140, 150. That'd be amazing. But possibly still too early. It's too premature, and it would just roll over and come. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down into the zone again. Actually, if it comes back up here, there's so much volume up here. When it comes back down, it would bounce around a little bit. But if the economy super dumps, then eventually it just comes down into this zone from like the 60s to as low as like $38. All right, I hope that was a good summary. I'll talk to you guys later.